As we like to say, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you are live. Welcome to this week's Wealth Warrior broadcast. We are going to be talking about credit. We're going to be talking about your business credit as opposed to your personal credit. But before we get started, we always like to make sure everybody knows what's the broadcast about, what's going on. What are these 12 steps that I am seeing? No problem. We're going to share that with you right now. We are warriors. We are committed to creating wealth for our families. We're committed to creating wealth for the next generations. And so, as a result of that, what we do is we focus in on principles, keys, pillars of wealth. What actually creates wealth? For example, virtually every person that is wealthy owns real estate. And they own more than one piece of real estate. They own multiple real estate. That's why we dedicated key number 3, pillar number 3, wealth principle number 3 to real estate. But above all, in my opinion, the first pillar of wealth, the very first pillar of wealth is your credit. And there are 2 levels of credit. There is life credit or your personal credit, and then there is business credit. And so we have focused on the personal credit, which I'm so glad that there's such a thing as business credit, because occasionally we have some issues with our personal credit. And so while we're cleaning up our personal credit, getting that straight, we can actually work with our business credit. But here's the deal. We cannot, I repeat, cannot afford to have that business credit commingled with our personal credit. So, as warriors, what we do, what we are committed to doing, is we are committed to learning the principles so that we, in fact, can create wealth. That's what we're committed to doing. So, in fact, if you are in that position, if you believe that you are committed to creating wealth, and notice I said wealth, not greed, if you're committed to wealth, then guess what you are going to be doing? You are going to be watching this broadcast every Saturday morning. And guess what? We're here whether there's a holiday or not. We don't begrudge holidays, but this is the point. We are going to be consistent because, that's a part of wealth too. Consistency. Doing something, learning a skill set, and repeating that until it becomes second nature. And so our credit, key principle number 1 of wealth, because here's the deal. You will never have as much money, as much physical cash as you will have access to credit, because credit begets credit. So here's the deal. We're going to study it. And we're going to know it like we're scientists. We are going to be scientists of money. We're going to study it. We're going to know it. We're going to feel it. We're going to eat in that knowledge. And guess what? No matter how knowledgeable we are, there is not a such a thing as having too much knowledge. Now, knowledge without action equals 0. You've got to take action. So, first steps in action is that we understand what we've got going on. Most of us are wealth babies. That's right, we are wealth babies. In fact, we are first generation wealth babies, and we are making a difference for our families. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is powerful. With that being said, the very first thing I want everybody to do is get the fingers going. I want you to go up to our elusive, exclusive Wealth Warriors Facebook site, and I want you to sign in your name, where you are watching the broadcast from, and what is it that you do, because something you do may be a need for another person. So I got the party started. I went up onto the site and I put the introductions for you right in the site. And if you have some sort of a promo that goes with that, then put that in there too. But we want you to introduce yourselves. And when you do, you never know, somebody may be looking for you. So on your mark, get set, let's go. Introduce yourself to all of us. That's awesome. And very shortly, when we roll back after everybody's introduced themselves, of course, you know, we have our SME, our subject matter expert in the house today. I am so enthusiastic, and she'll be introducing herself momentarily. First up, introduce yourself, name, where you are from, and what is your occupation? What is your business? What do you do? Because you know, one of the principles of wealth, another principle of wealth, a pillar, which I'm not going to tell you which number it is, but it's about ownership. So if you have a conventional job right now, that's okay. But ownership is critical. Yes. Okay, with that being said, I have the privilege of bringing forth our SME expert. I'm going to let her do all of the introductions for herself, and then we're going to get the questions started because you know I am full of questions. Okay, without further ado, SME, please introduce yourself to our audience. The screen is yours.
Good morning, everyone. This is Trudy Outten-Finlayson. I am here in lovely, lovely Southern California at about 6:05 my time. I am a mortgage banker, and also I am a real estate investor, and I conduct financial wellness workshops for women because I'm all about women being savvy about their finances and helping them so that they can increase their wealth so that when they get to the end or whatever it is that they think it's going to be, they can look back and say, hey, I left a legacy. Because, you know, what we do for ourselves, that goes with us. But what we have done for others, that remains. So I'm about leaving a generational legacy, something that's going to stay behind. And Brent, I'm going to have fun while I'm doing it.
I want to tell you, yes, that is let's have fun while we're doing it. You know, everybody, we're studying, but this is grown folks talk. We're studying because we've got to expedite the time frame. Why do we have to expedite it? We have to expedite it because we're grown. And so, am I right? Am I right, Trudy? We've got to get it going now. We cannot afford to waste any time. Yes?
That's it. That's it.
And so with that being said, we're going to get this party started. First of all, now that you have introduced yourself, I want somebody to go up there and put hashtag I am a first generation wealth baby. That's right. Hashtag I am if you are a first generation wealth baby, then be proud of it because you are the person that's starting the legacy. On the mantle, back there, guess what? Your name is going to be there. I was the first generation wealth baby. I got this started. And as a result of me, guess what? Generation after generation is reaping the wealth. How about that? Oh, that sounds almost.
That's it.
Well, you know what? I want to get started, Trudy. Would you share with the audience your credit background so that they understand what they get the gist of where we're going with this? Share with them in terms of credit, your background and some of the things that you've done.
Well, being in mortgages and real estate, it's imperative that, you know, you have your FICO score to a certain place. So I have since 1986, which is, you know, I'm putting my age out there a little bit, but that's okay.
Good job. That's all right. We can handle it.
For over 25 years, helping my clients so that they can get a loan. Because what people don't understand is those three little numbers, you know, they are very important that comprise our FICO score. So sharing with people what it takes in order to get a mortgage loan, what it takes to get your finances really in order, period. Because it's not just about a mortgage loan. That FICO impacts you when you're looking for credit cards, if you're going to buy a home, a job, insurance. All of that has a need. So it was imperative that I learn everything that I needed so that I could help my clients. And not just that, Brett, I had to help myself. When I formed my corporation, I learned about getting lines of credit because I had a mortgage and real estate company all in one. And so what I had to learn how to do is learn how to play the credit game and take it up a notch, because it wasn't just about, okay, getting a mortgage. I had that. Showing somebody how to do that. I had done that, had been doing that for years. But understanding as a business person, the advantages or disadvantages if you don't know, because I always say, you know, what we know can empower us and what we don't know can truly hurt us. Learning how to have that line of credit so that when things happen, I could move quickly. Because in business, you got to be able to make a move. You got to be able to take advantage of the opportunities that are presenting themselves to you, with you, and for you. So, you know, I've been dealing with credit issues and helping people get their credit together for a long time.
Understood. Appreciate it. What I've shared with the audience, Trudy, is that we need to get clear that there's personal credit and there is also business credit.
Correct.
And never the twain shall meet. And sometimes folks don't realize it is critical that you keep them separate, that you not, and that the credit that you use to purchase the homes and things of that nature may very well not be the credit that you're using for your business. And you know what I found oftentimes is people, I hate to say, no, we said this is grown folks talk this morning.
That's right.
Stop being cheap. Stop being cheap. When you've got to open up a business account, suck it up. It costs you some money to make some money. Now, we're not just saying go out and put it in a vat, but here's the point. There is a delineation. There is an expectation when you are now at the point where it is business. That's why there's a different cost, because there's an expectation that you are making a profit. So, Trudy, talk to us about about business credit, about Dun & Bradstreet, business credit, lines of credit, things of that nature. You know, bring it on home for us.
Well, you know, what you just shared, and I want to also expound on that, because it is critical. And I did say critical that we keep them separate, because, and I'll just be honest, when I had my one corporation, when I had to dissolve that corporation, there was debt that was involved in it. Had that have been tied to my home and my personal credit, it would have been disastrous on both fronts. So that's why there are some things that you want to keep separate. But I will share this, that when you're first starting out, that they are going to look at your personal credit. So it is imperative that your personal credit be in good standing if you're going to go out and have other credit extended. Now, there are ways to get around that, and you do need your, like Dun & Bradstreet, we're used to thinking about Experian and Equifax and TransUnion. And now Experian, they also have a credit reporting for businesses as well. So, you know, it's not just the Paydex, which is what the Dun & Bradstreet does. And Dun & Bradstreet, let me just go back to that. They are the credit reporting agencies for business. And so you need to know if they have anything on you. You need to know what, you know, that report says. And so a lot of times it will require you to have an EIN or FIN number. And though, like you said, those are things that you're going to need if you're really serious about being in business and up leveling it to the next level. But there are some places.
Before you go on with that, no, you were, I hate to take you off the roll, but share with people the difference between an EIN and a TIN number, because you're using acronyms that all of us ought to know. But you know what, we're going to break it down just a little bit more this morning. So share those with us.
Employee identification number, you get those from the IRS. And what that number does is, if you're going to have a business, like if you are even a corporation, well, you have to have your number in order to hire people, and this is how you have to file your taxes. And you really want to do that. One of the reasons why is because depending upon your tax situation, and I don't want to go in depth in that, whether you should have an LLC or just a C Corp, it really is going to depend on you, whether you want to be taxed twice, whether you want to be taxed, you know, one time, and the setup you have with your CPA, because I've done it both ways. So you can get that right from the IRS, their website. You know, you can get your EIN number from them. And so once you have your EIN number, because you're going to need a separate number a lot of times when you go into the bank, unless you're a solopreneur. Now, you can go to the bank as a solopreneur. You can use your personal credit. I've done them both, Brent. I've had it from my EIN with my corporation, and I've also had credit granted to me on my solo business, but it was established with a bank. And what they're going to look for is going to be longevity in business and some other things that I'll get into when, you know, you want to delve into that. But those are some of the things that you're going to need to set up. And it doesn't cost you anything but time and a little bit of research to find out what's going to go best for you. So whether you're a solopreneur where it's just you, or whether you're a corporation, an LLC, you need to have those things done because it's going to impact you when you go to open up your business bank account. And, further along, I can just share my experience and with the businesses that I have dealt with, what has worked for them and what has personally worked for me. Because you got a lot of people, they'll tell you just something out of a book. I can tell you how I did it and how it worked.
Absolutely. I appreciate that tremendously. So folks, what we're saying is you are hearing information that is real time. That is, in fact, real time. So let's get to it. Trudy, let's talk about business credit, because now we are in business. We're getting ready to establish it. Take us from Genesis to Revelation on that.
Okay, the first thing you're going to have to do, whether you are a solopreneur, you're going to use your own social security number, which I would not recommend that you do that for long, because you can do that. It's going to be based off of your personal credit report and personal status. But that may be how some of you have to start. And you can go down to the bank if you're just doing business in your own name. If you're going to have a business name, though, you're going to have to also establish, I know here in California, we have to do a DBA. So we do a doing business as, because if it's not your own name, you have to have a DBA, get all of that filed with all of the entities that you need to, whether for us, we go down to the county and we get that stuff filed. Then you're going to take that information and go to the bank. And once you go to the bank, they're going to ask you whether you're a solopreneur or if you are a corporation or LLC. They're going to know your EIN, which is a number that the IRS has for business purposes, and you'll set all of that up. Then you can start applying. Now, what I've done on both cases, my corporation, I had a line of credit, and then also as a solopreneur, I've also, and I still do, I have a credit card, but it's aligned with my business. And some are saying, well, hey, how do I go about doing it? The easiest way, Brent, one of the easiest ways, if you have never done it, is you have stores like Sam's Club. You have Costco. You can go down there and start getting some things in the name of your business, not just in your personal name. Even as a solopreneur, it's not in Trudy Finlayson. It's in Finlayson Financial Services. And I go down there and I start like that. So those are some of the easier ways that you can start establishing it. And then you need to know what your DUNS number is. Even if you have a DUNS number, contacting them and seeing what's being reported on you and about you. Because there are going to be times where you're going to want to make a move or do something, or you're going to want to meet your payroll, where you may need to have something that's done, not just all cash right then and there, but you're going to need something that's extended over time, which is what credit is. That's all it is saying, we're going to give you this lump sum right here, and then you can pay it back over time, whether you need to expand and get new equipment, whether you need to expand and get new software, you're going to open up your office. It is imperative if you want to be able to move. And I don't believe in putting all of my cash out there into everything.
Hello.
Especially for a business. Now, a lot of us have a challenge with that, but if you're going to do business, you're going to have to learn to do it how the big boys do it. Or as I shall say, how real women get it done, okay? Because it's not just about the big boys, but it's how real women get it done, because we're not little girls anymore. And so we can't even think like that, because there are going to be times where you're going to need to put something down. Even if you're a speaker, you're going to go somewhere, or you're going to go and just develop networks, whether you're mentoring or being mentored, you need to travel, having those things set up on your business lines so that it's not impacting your home is imperative. I'm not going to even get into how I take title to all my properties, because there's different ways that I even do that, because I don't want anybody being able to attach anything to my personal residence. Not that I'm an expert on that. I, just been around the block a couple of times, so I keep things separate. You need to keep things separate. If something happens in your business, God forbid, and you need to make another move and launch out and expand and do another business, you don't want that previous business to hold you in bondage. You don't want that previous business to come and say, hey, you put your house on the line. You put your personal credit on the line. So now, you don't have your house, nor do you have your business. So you have to be strategic, and you have to use wisdom. And so once you've done those things and you have it, then you can eventually set yourself up, you know, with the American Express cards and things like that, getting lines of credit, not just a credit card, you know, a credit card where you can go and you can purchase things and then you can pay it as your money is coming in. Because most people, the way they pay you, if you have a huge contract, a lot of times it's not going to be in a lump sum. It's going to be over time.
Absolutely
and
not.
so you want to be in a position that you can take care of your obligations in a timely manner over time. Having that line of credit and having that credit card is going to enable you to be able to sustain. Everybody say sustain.
Sustain.
Expand and launch further into the deep your business, because we're not in business to play small. Come on. It's time for us to launch out into that deep so that we can have generational wealth, that we can extend. And Brett, it's so important. And I love what you do. That's why I'm here at
thank you. Okay? Folks know this woman had to wake up and be ready at 6 a.m. okay, California time. So you know she is committed. If you are looking for a warrior or a warrior faculty member, this woman is committed. Please continue on.
And so, you know, because we need to teach our children, because a lot of times, and I'm going to put it out there and just be real. Okay, I had a corporation, and when the boom went bust, I was so glad that my personal credit wasn't tied to that business credit, because here I was, I think it was in 2009, I had to close down my office. I had to close down another location that I had somewhere. We're talking brick and mortar business, okay? And I had credit cards because I had a cable show and all of that, and this is how we were doing things. I knew things were going to get tough. And I've always known that you have something aside, but Brent, I'm gonna be really honest. I didn't know it was gonna hit as hard as it hit. And us on the West Coast, we got hit really hard. I mean, at one time people were saying you need to go to DC and stuff like that. My husband was like, nope, we are not moving. It was really, really hard. Thank God my personal credit was not tied up with that business credit, because that meant that I still had credit in some areas that wasn't being tagged on, because can I be really honest? I could not make all those payments on time. But guess what? I never had to worry about losing the roof over my head. I didn't have to do that. I could dissolve that corporation and do what the big boys do and how they do it and move on and still have a life.
Absolutely. And you know, you brought up such a pivotal point, separating so that you do not lose. I have friends that have gotten loans and their house has become the collateral, and they have wanted to close down their businesses. But what's happened is when they close down their business, guess what's happening? Their house is attached. And so they're almost, in some instances, enslaved to the business that they started, that the economy did not take into account that this was going to happen or that was going to happen. And you know, I feel for them. I feel for them, because the pain of what happened back in 2008, here it is 7 years later, and they're still feeling that pain. You know,
exactly. Brent,
oh, I'm so sorry. I wanted to share this one. I've had friends that have literally gone out and gotten a job to support the business because they can't shut it down.
You know, out here on the West Coast, many of my friends were impacted. Many of them lost their homes because everything was tied. But I used to share, there's one client that comes to mind, and I said, because she had refinanced, I said, you're raping your home. I do not advise people to do that. I think that it is not wise to put your home on the line and go out and refinance and pull out this cash that your business is obligated to make that payment for. Because if something, God forbid, happens like it did, okay, then not only have you lost the business, but now they're coming out the house. And I mean, the good news for them is I helped them to modify, you know, because they still are in their home. So they had a happy ending, but they also had someone that could help them to do that. Everybody doesn't have that. So let's be wise and let's set ourselves up. And in business, be men. Even the Bible talks about that. I mean, so if you're coming from a spiritual perspective, which I love the book of Proverbs, because the book of Proverbs to me is just an awesome book on business. Don't put all of your eggs in one basket. You have to diversify. You have to separate if you're really serious about this thing. And you guys are getting this information for free. So again, Brent, I applaud you because you're sharing stuff that a lot of people, myself included, you're going to come in my office and you're going to pay me to sit down and show you how to structure your business so that it can not only be profitable, but it can be sustainable and that you can still have a life. Because let's be honest, Donald Trump, all the big boys, if you will look back, when a business is not successful, and they've already launched out or they've pulled everything out of it that they decide they want, they're moving on to something else. They know how to shut it down and it not impact everything else. And we have to learn how to position ourselves to do that also, and to teach our children, because most people, you're never going to get rich working for someone else. Unless you're the CEO of some major corporation, you know, where you are making, you know, millions and billions. The way to wealth is going to be the other income that you have from your own business. I'm not advocating you go out there if you have a job and quitting right now. I'm saying get yourself those other streams of income going so that you can, because the truth is, Brent, we're all Social Security numbers. I know, engineering analyst that was laid off, okay? It wasn't nothing personal. It was just business. And I decided that I could not have my life, my destiny tied up to anyone else other than myself and God. Because you know what? I like me. Matter of fact, I love me. And I want to make sure that I'm taken care of. Just like that business was making sure they were taken care of. It wasn't anything personal, Brent. It was just business. So we have to take care of our business.
Let's do, and first, I appreciate it. Woo, everything you have said, right on point. So folks, let's do a little bit of a recap, and then you know what? We're going to get the fingers moving, because I know everybody, if you didn't hear a nugget out in this conversation, you're just not living. You're just not alive, because she hit us with so many nuggets until we should be copiously on the notes, record, whatever the case may be. So here's the deal. First and foremost, we know that we need to separate our credit. We need to have a life that's personal, that we need to insulate that so that if anything happens on our business, because more often than not, we do plan, but with that planning, we never know whether something's going to impact that. Who would have known when I was in the mortgaging industry back in 2008 that suddenly, without warning, no, I can't say without warning, but the truth was that it all fell apart, that it literally fell apart. So not only do you have to have a plan, you've got to have an exit strategy so that if something happens, you are not caught with the pants down, so to speak. So what she gave us was the fact that how do we get this started? We need to make decisions. We need to have a plan. You need to write up a plan. You know, Trudy, the interesting thing about a lot of people is their businesses actually start as a hobby that brought them in some extra income. And then what happens is their gig, their A plan falls apart. And so a miraculous idea comes to mind. I know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to put more energy, the energy I put into the work, I'm going to put it into my business. And they never get around to taking care of the business. See, there's the running of the business, there's the taking care of the business. I know right now we're talking primary. And some of you are saying, hey, Brent, I already know this. Okay, here's the test. Do you have a business plan, or do you have an MSPP? And do you know what the difference is? Because, see, a business plan is typically written when you are looking for money, when you're seeking out money. But an MSPP, a marketing and sales performance plan, is about running the business. It doesn't mean you actually need to have money. It means you are putting, the financials are about the fact that this thing is up and running and it's performing. So let's get square, let's get straight. So you may be in business for 5 years, but how are you running the business so the business is being profitable? Now that's a whole nother story, because here we're talking about business credit. But all of this, you see how all of this fits in? It's not just a standalone by itself. So now we know we're not going to tie the house up We're going to make sure the house is protected. Trudy gave us some opening statements there. She said that you can start once you get that EIN number, once you set up that bank account, once you do those things, you actually can then go to entities and such as the smaller entities and start building up some credit, start building up some lines there so that you can then grow this thing.
That's right.
Yes, go ahead, right ahead, Trudy, please. You got
One of the things you're going to ask for is your financial statement. So it's really important that you have all of that. They're going to want to know what you've been grossing, what you've been making, and things of that nature, and how the business is doing. So if you haven't been keeping records, how are you going to tell them that? And one of the things that I've always done that's worked for me is I went to the bank where I was doing my business, and it wasn't my personal account. It was my business account. So even if you have a hobby, open up that business account right now. Put that on your to-do list, because now when you go in and they say, how long have you been in business? Now you can say from this long, and you need to start. I mean, I cannot stress the urgency. If you don't have a business bank account, today is Saturday. Monday, go out and open your business bank account, because you are in business. And if you want to make money, then you got to take care of that money, and you got to respect money and how money works. So go open that business account. Get your financials in line. Where are you today? Where do you want to go? Do you want to expand? Do you want to grow? And I know all of you do, because you wouldn't be here if you weren't interested in being the best you, having the best business possible. Not what somebody else has, but just your personal best and what success looks like to you. So go and open it up. See, success leaves clues. There's evidence. And
evidence.
If you're really serious,
a powerful word, evidence.
Yes.
Evidence. Thank you.
You know, if you're really serious about this, then you need to do that. If you are using a different name and you just put it on your card and you haven't registered it, you didn't go through the process of going down and filling out the paperwork for your DBA, it's okay, but past Monday and next week, it's not okay, because now you know. And when we know better, we got to do better. Go down and take care of your business. I constantly, Brent, and I'm a woman of faith, and I'm not ashamed to say that. And absolutely. I hear people and they're praying and wishing. I'm like, honey, you don't even have a vision for God to bless. He said, write it down and make it plain so that your banker can see it, so that you can see it and run with it. Because people want to know. By our fruit, we are known. And if you can't even do the simple things in business, how can I, if you don't trust it enough to take care of it and protect it and do what you need to do, why should I, as either a bank or a venture capitalist or someone else that wants to invest in your business, or Mr. Credit Card, American Express, or Visa and MasterCard, if you don't trust it enough to take care of it, why should I to want to invest or extend credit in it?
Absolutely. And the pivotal points, folks, are we getting the nuggets? Do you know why she is our SME on our Wealth Warrior faculty? Everybody, we have expertises, and you might be fantastic in whatever business you're involved in. However, you've got to have the experts who bring the information to the table to help you to delineate it. Because guess what? I am not an expert at HVAC. And nor am I desirous of being that, because I'm an expert over here. So we need to pull together those folks and put the underpinnings in. I like something that Trudy said. Today is Saturday. Come Monday, no excuses. All right, it's a holiday. Come Tuesday, no excuses. So that means on Monday, you should be prepping up. So on Tuesday, you are taking care of the business that you need to take care of. You are filling in the blanks. And as we know, this is a home-based studio. So occasionally, we're going to get the calls. You are listening in at Studio 116 out of Boston, Massachusetts, and we are heard all around the world. We're going to take a moment and we're going to do something called Flash Mob. That's right. That means your Twitter accounts. That means your Facebook accounts. There's good stuff here. We need to share this good stuff. So what we're going to do, we're going to do a flash mob for Twitter. And we're going to go up on Twitter. And we want to let people know that we are listening in to the Wealth Warrior Broadcast, and they need to join us. So you want to put your name in there. You want to put where you're from, and you want to say, join us on the Wealth Warrior Broadcast. When? Right now. That's right, right now, so that they can get the nuggets that you are in fact getting. So we're going to do a countdown. We're going to count down to 1. And when we do, you are going to hear the word flash mob. And that means put it the pedal to the metal. Make it happen. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Flash mob! Did you do it? That's right. Put it up there, because we're sharing nuggets. We're sharing powerful information that you want to be. You can take this information to the bank of knowledge. Fantastic. So you know what? There is this book knowledge, and then there's experience. Book knowledge gives us a basis to have a conversation. So where we're sitting down with Trudy, when we're sitting down with Brent, when we're sitting down with Kareem, we have a clue, we understand. And then from there, we build on that understanding. We build on that understanding. So right now, what you're getting are experts who know what they're talking about, experts that will be able to not only give you the information, but you will have a basis on which to build. So right now, nugget, somebody put in our Facebook site, please put in, there is a difference between business credit and personal credit. Please put in there, hashtag no commingling, hashtag no commingling. I don't care. You know, some people say, well, you know, Brent, it was such and such and such a time, and I needed to have some money, so I put it into my personal account. As soon as you do that, you have created an attachment.
Mm-hmm.
An attachment such that now somebody can come after things on your personal side. Trudy, here's a question for you. A person says, okay, you know what, Brent, I've already got myself established. I've already done these things, and now it's messy in the middle. How do I get it so it's not messy in the middle? Should I be doing something? Because, you know, stuff has already happened. I'm already 2 years into my gig. Should I do something? And if yes, what should I be doing?
Yes, yes, and yes again. And you know what? Where you are and where you want to be can be two separate things. The key is to start right now. If you can ascertain and go back and look at your books and see, okay, what's in there that I need to take out and put into there, and then just start from where you are. So if you've been commingling, if you've been in business for a while, now I want to make sure I understand the question correct, Brett. Are you saying someone that has been commingling or someone that has the separate bank account already?
No, they've been well, you know what? Good question. So let me make the distinction. They have a business account. They have a personal account. But they've been, you know, okay, I don't have time, or my personal account doesn't have enough money in it. So I'm going to take that business check that a client gave me, and I'm going to float that over into my personal side. And instead of taking the money, putting it into their business account, and then letting their business account write a check to themselves, they have just decided, hey, I'm just going to bypass that. I'm going to put it into my account. And it's been going on. It started off as a onesie twosie, and now it's really it's kind of messy in the middle. So I'm looking at two things. I'm looking at, first, a person that's done it once or twice versus somebody who's just, it's messy in the middle.
Well, you know, you're going to have to start where you are, and you're going to have to look into and ascertain, okay, what should have been in here that didn't, and then you got to start. You know, I'm always like, I got to admit it, and then I can quit it, because if I don't admit it and quit and say, hey, if you know better, you got to do better. And you need to put safeguards in place and understand the motive. Why were you doing it like that? Because if you have two separate accounts, something else is going on. And it could be self-sabotage, but I know we're not doing personal development, but and lack of time cannot be an excuse. If you're going to be in business, you got to take care of your own business, else your doors are going to be shut. So, you know, to be in business, you got to take care of business. So right where we are, let's start, let's ascertain, and then keep it separate. You can always write a check from the business account to your personal account. And that even makes it a whole lot better. I tell a lot of people, you know, when you're picking their name, they want to say, oh, I'm Trudy Outten-Finlayson. I say, no, honey, don't do that. If you really want to get some lines of credit, you don't want people to know that this is you. You know, you want them to just think it's a regular business. And I don't want to get into depth into all of that because this is just about business credit. But these are some of the things that you're talking about, keeping it separate. You know, think about that when you're having your name, because if when you go to the bank, and I know this to be a fact, if it's just your name, they're going to look really, really on you. But if it's the business name, they're going to look more at the financial statements that you have. And I'm going to share this with you. There are banks out there, and I know because I just did it. Opened up an account at the bank, U.S. Bank, a business bank. Trudy, how long have you been in business? That's what they wanted to know. They're also going to want to know, how much do you make a year? What is the income that your business is generating? Now, I'm going to be honest. I combine my income from everything, and so should you.
Okay.
I'm not telling you to lie, but if your income consists of the money that your husband makes, which mine does, I combine it all, okay? Because that his income, his money is my money, okay?
Fellas, don't get upset. This is business, okay? We need to put it all together because I know there's some fellas out there right now that are going, hold on, this ain't all. Why is my money tied up in here? Look, we're a unit, okay? Please continue on.
And here's the thing. It's not attaching to my husband at all because it's a business account. But what I'm saying is these are the things that a lot of people are going to say, oh, well, you know, my business is this. Well, my husband's business is my business also. So I'm not telling you to lie, but I'm telling you what most people do. Okay, when you ask me what's my income is everything my business brings in, everything my husband brings in. And my husband, he's a foreman on the job. So he's an electrical business, but still his business is my business. That's how I look at it. I don't know how your household is set up. That's how I look at it. And he would do the same thing because guess what? My husband has an EIN also because he does consulting work, and the twain don't meet. Okay. Because if this goes somewhere and he's got a liability, it's not coming back on my business, nor is it going to be attached to my house. So I really hope you guys are understanding the importance and the imperative. And I'm not just saying that in case something bad happens. I'm saying that because you also want to be able to grow. You want to be able to expand if that's your desire. Some people, their desire is, I only want to make $100,000. And if I can make that, I'm cool. I only want to make $35,000. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I want to do my business so that I can continue to be that stay-at-home mom and still have this income coming in. So whatever your goal is, and I know we got goals. I know we have them written down because we are wealth warriors. And so once you have established all of that, then you want to just proceed to take care of your business. And if you've been doing it wrong, stop it. Stop it. That's all. Admit it, quit it, and move on. You can't continue to beat yourself up. If you need your accountant to get involved and to help you to decipher some things, to get your financials, because I know if we're in business, we're doing profit and loss statements, even if it's just for ourselves, right? Because we're wealth warriors. And if we haven't been doing it, you know, we just gonna admit it and quit it, and we're gonna keep moving on because we're all learning, we're all growing. So I don't want you to beat yourself up, but I do want you to put a plan of action. I don't want you just to think about it and say, oh, well, that was really good, and someday and one day. No, today is someday. It's not on the calendar, okay? Today is that day. I forgot that Monday was a holiday, Brent. You know, when you're an entrepreneur, look.
Thank you. Every day. That's why.
Every day is an opportunity, and I truly. I look at life like that every day is an opportunity. So, you know, on Tuesday, even if it's just calling around to see what bank you want to bank at, do something. There is power in momentum. There is power in taking action instead of just sitting around moping and moping. I mean, there were these 4 guys, right? They were really sick. We may say in today's terms that they had AIDS or something, but they were lepers. They said, look, if we sit here, we're going to die. So we're not going to sit here. We're going to get up. We're going to rise up, and we're going to do something. And let me tell you, because they got up and said, let's take action, not only did they save themselves, but they saved the nation. And you know what? There are people who are looking at us. See, my success is not just for me, but it's for those watching, that God could be glorified and they can see that, yes, you can be successful in America, and you don't have to Can I go there? Sling
Yes.
drugs.
Hey, we said this is the adult conversation here.
Yeah.
So take it to the
You don't
hood.
have to do anything illegal. You can do it the right way and not looking over your shoulder when you go to bed at night. And you don't want to do that. You don't want the IRS to come in your business because you didn't take care of business and take your house. So let's take care of business.
You know what? And when they do come, they're staying. They're not just coming and passing by. They're going to come and then they're going to flag you. And periodically, you're going to get an unwarranted visit. Am I right?
That's very true. I've got 5 just quick tips, Brent, whenever you're ready, that I do want to leave them with something concrete. 5 quick tips when it comes to building your credit. Okay, everybody say number one, mind your personal credit. Okay, faithful in little, faithful in much. It doesn't matter where you were yesterday because today is a new day. If you haven't been paying stuff on time, pay it on time. So mind your personal credit, because when you're first starting out, a lot of times, and it did on me, they did look at that when I was first starting out. They looked at that. Then once, my corporation got started, they were looking at the corporate business and the financial. So number one, mind your personal credit rating. Apply for credit before you need it. Don't wait until you need it. Sometimes it's like insurance or a parachute. You better have it on before you need it, because when you need it, you're not going to be able to get it a lot of times. You jump out of plane, don't think, oh, I need a parachute. You better have it strapped on and ready before you get out that plane, okay? You got it on your back while you're in the plane. You're not waiting to try to put a parachute on after you've already jumped out of the plane, okay? So apply for credit before you need it. Remember, there are smaller entities that would be glad to extend you your card in your name, such as Sam's Club, and they do have a credit card. Go with this Office Depot. They're great for that. Home Depot, Staples. I don't know what office stores you use, but most of them, those stores that you're going into your supplies, start there. Number 3, grow your credit and use it. Don't just leave it dormant. Use it, pay it, build it up. Then you can ask for an increase. Don't ask for the increase when you want it. Ask for the increase when you don't even need it.
Hello.
So if they've given you an $1,000 line of credit and you're buying stuff, you're paying it on time, there's nothing wrong with calling them up. I would like to get an increase on my credit line. And that's going to also impact you positively, because if you're not using it, it's going to keep the debt to the credit ratio low enough that you want to always keep it at that 30 to 50% if possible. Meaning if I owe if my credit line is 1,000, I'm only using 300 of it. That shows lenders that you can manage it and that you haven't overextended yourself. Okay, number 4, forge relationships with more than one lender. Don't just hang out at one bank. You may need several lines of credit. So you want to go, and banks, they're always having events that you can go to. Network, get out there. Remember, we're wealth warriors, and as wealth warriors, we take care of business. We go out there and we do what we need to do so that we can do and live how we want to. Number 5, consider the alternatives. Remember that traditional banks are not the only sources out there. You have credit unions, you have community banks, then there are venture capitalists. So, you want to expand yourself and look and see just what's available and take care of your business, and your business will take care of you.
Woo! Woo! 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, if you did not get a nugget through the whole show, she just quantified that right there. Powerful. 5 keys to business credit. Wonderful. Trudy, that was absolutely amazing. This morning, we have been talking about business credit. We've got 11 minutes left. There is still time for people to join us. At the top of the screen, press the tab that says Facebook, press the icon rather that says Facebook, invite somebody in to the last few minutes, and then make sure they know that every week we are here, whether there's holiday or not, because you know what? Business does not stop for a holiday. Mm-hmm. There are folks out on the golf course that are talking about business right now. So we want to keep you in that mode. We want to make sure that you understand that you now, when you make that decision that you want to be in business, that you want to be in definitive business, then you know what happens? You start separating things out. The plans have to be written. And there is time. Go back, whether you've been in business 5 years, 10 years, or you just got started, go back and fill in where the shortcomings are at and make things happen. I'll tell you what, I learned some things here this morning. You better believe as soon as this broadcast is complete, I'm going back and I'm doing an inventory on what I've got and what things need to be done. That's why we bring the experts on the program, so that one, you get a good feel for who is in this organization. And then here's the deal. We've got offers on the table, offers that will benefit you. For example, you right now, you can text me at area code 617-438-7949, and you can put in the word credit. And you know what will happen? I will respond to that, and we'll set up a consultation for you so that we can discuss your credit. And then guess what happens after that? And guess what? That is free of charge to you. I know very rarely, I should say it is at no charge for that 20-minute consultation that will benefit you. How does it benefit you? I'm going to give you some solid information. I'm going to hear what you're talking about, and I'm going to give you an assessment of where I believe you need to go to from there. I'm going to put you in contact with Trudy, who is our SME on for credit. We've got a couple of SMEs. We don't have a lot, but we've got a couple. Why? Because they are, in fact, experts in the field. Now, do know this. This consultation is free of charge to you. Put in the word credit, area code 617-438-7949. You're going to get a quick assessment. You're going to get some focus and direction so that you can make an informed decision. And then I'm going to put you in the direction of the experts that will be able to help you take it to the next level. Second, also on the table, we are now in the process of putting together the wealth assessment. And you can go ahead and pre-register for that. Again, 617-438-7949, and put in the word assessment. What is an assessment? We're going to do a soup to nuts on your business, from the credit to what your ownership looks like to how it's structured. We're going to do a soup to nuts and then put you in the direction of who will handle those components for you. Very cost effective, less than $500 for you to have a wealth assessment that's going to benefit your business, and it's going to benefit you. There's the personal you, there is the business side of you. We are looking to make things cost effective that benefit you, that help you to fill in the areas that are missing, things that you need to be doing so that you can, in fact, create the wealth. You know, a lot of times we figure because we're doing it small that things do not need to be put in place. But I've got news for you. They do need to be put in place.
Yes.
Why? They need to be put in place. You know, Trudy, I know a lot of times there are a number of our listeners and our watchers, our members who are in small-based businesses. There are also there's a significant amount that are in the business model of multi-level marketing or network marketing. And for whatever reason, they seem to think that I don't need to do all those things because I'm an independent contractor. And there's the big company and I'm the independent contractor. We've only got a few minutes left, and I want to make sure that you get to announce your offer. But can you give us in a couple of minutes why the network marketer, the multi-level marketer, the person that is using that business model needs to understand they're in business and they're as culpable as any other small business or any other big business? Please, would you speak to that for a moment?
You know, whether you are part of an MLM, and I believe that even if you're an employee at a company, you are the CEO of you, you know, and you need to really take care of business. You need to keep it separate. We talked about getting your EIN or your FIN, which is your federal identification number. Same thing. It's a phone call away. Just pick up the phone on Tuesday, and because I don't know if they're going to be open. You know, I think they might be, because it's just a thing that you just put service and you call, and then you have to input all of the stuff. It's all computerized, so it's not like you're dealing with a live person. But you need to do those things unless it's just a hobby, unless you're just playing around. But even if you're playing around, you can play around and get hurt, and you can get hurt financially. Okay,
Absolutely.
so if you want to protect yourself and protect your family, then you need to do those things. You get car insurance. I know in California, it's mandatory that you have car insurance. And that car insurance is not just about protecting you, but to protect other people. You want to protect your assets. You want to protect your loved ones. So you want to make sure that you're doing those things. You're putting those things in place. You're having a solid foundation upon which your business can stand upon. And like, you know, I cannot stress it any more than to say you gotta take care of your business if you want your business to take care of you. If you want it to be an entity, whereas now, I hear people say, oh, I'm doing this so that when I get to be 65, no, my business affords me the lifestyle right now. I'm not 65. It affords me the lifestyle. Every time I travel, I'm able to write it off. Why? Because I'm in business. And typically wherever I go, I'm talking about my business, networking, or doing something. These are things that we need to take advantage of and to learn how it works, because if we don't have the knowledge and don't take advantage, then we'll be taken advantage of. So whether you are an MLMer, whether you are even an employee, I recommend everybody do something on the side, because remember, we're all just social security numbers to that employer. It's nothing personal. You do not want to have your destiny in anyone's hands other than yours and God's. That's my version. Okay.
Hello.
So
Hello.
take care of we could see it, the great layoffs that happened in 2009. And I know so many that were so impacted, and they never thought, Brent, it would happen with them. And then I had people with, master's degrees. They're working at McDonald's because they didn't take the time to have something else that they could be doing on the side. So that, if something happened, because gone are the days that you're going to be with a company and think like in my parents' day, oh, I'm going to retire and get the pension and those golden handcuffs, I call them. Those days, that's really gone. So if you're not willing to take care of you, why should somebody else take care of you? Come on.
True that. Warren Buffett, I like a statement that Warren Buffett makes, and I think it culminates everything that you and I have been talking about. And he says that you have to, gone are the days where you can rely on one source of income. And when I do presentations and I talk to people, I ask the question, how many people have one job? And you'll have hands go up. How many have two? Most do not have more than one. Then I'll say, how many bills do you have? And I'll say, anybody got 1, 2, 3? And I'll go down the list and I'll say, does anybody have 5 or more bills? And invariably, hands go up. In fact, almost every hand goes up. So what's the point? Warren Buffett says that you must invest in a second source of income. Now, notice he didn't say go out and get a job. He said invest. That was a clue. You remember Trudy said the success leaves clues, that wealth leaves clues. That, ladies and gentlemen, was a clue. He said invest in a second source of income. And that's why ownership in every respect is a part of wealth. Trudy, we've got 2 minutes. Take 1 minute. Give us your rundown. What's happening with you, things that you're doing, things that people can touch base with. We know that folks are going to go ahead and they're going to text me, and we're going to make sure that information gets back to you. But tell us what you've got going on.
Well, currently right now, I'm in the process of not only helping my clients in terms of mortgages and real estate, but that I am now rehabbing properties. We have some rental properties, and now we are, and I'll be so glad, I said I should have did a video of this, finishing this rehab. This house was so ugly, and it's going to be so beautiful. And we're like 99.9% done. And I'm so excited because I feel like I'm getting ready to give birth to a child, right? And put it up on the market. I do. I love transformation, whether it's working in the lives of individuals or, with the the young people that I work with, or even these houses, transforming homes and neighborhoods. And I'm so excited. And my husband goes, don't get too attached, because we're selling it, right? But that's what we're doing. And also I'll be starting up in the month of June, which is going to be right around the corner. And I'll get that information out for those who are interested. I'm going to be starting up again, and it's going to be a free teleclass for empowered, wealthy women. Nothing against the men, but so often I see women who are struggling, and a lot of it is the mindset, and then it's the skill set. And so we're going to be covering all those bases. It is biblically based, but it has a lot of practical tools, proven strategies to help you get from where you are to where you want to be. And the main thing is getting clarity, setting that foundation up. So I'm just really excited. about where God is taking me, the direction me and my husband that we're going. And I can't wait to post these pictures of my baby once everything is finalized with this house.
We will be on the lookout for them. Trudy, I want to thank you so much for being here. It is straight up 10 o'clock, and we like to make sure
Wow.
we are keeping you for 60 minutes. So I want to say thank you to Trudy for being not only with us, but being a wealth warrior and also being part of the Wealth Warrior faculty. Be on the lookout for some great and exciting things that we are doing. We will be back again next week, and next week is the 5th Saturday. That's right. May has 5 Saturdays, and we're going to wrap up credit, and then we're going to move into and announce what's going to be happening in June. The whole month of June is dedicated to another wealth principle. As in the words of Trevor Otts, go out today and be amazing. We'll see you next week. Bye now.